FUD this morning is that number on inflation, the January CPI, and showing annual inflation at 3.1%, and the market didn't like it. Dow futures down 408 points. That's more than 1% lower. NASDAQ futures close to 2% down 337 points now. 7 minutes until the bell. If weather delays traffic, stay with the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Ground Patrol, where adventure is on the edge at 08 and 38 here at WCBS 880.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 gigabyte data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Theon, I got some really bad news from the IRS.
They said you owe quite a bit of money. They told me the possibilities of garnishing my wages, taking my house, taking my car.
Deanna found out about Optima Tax Relief. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax saved my life.
Call Optima now for a free consultation. Call 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799. Optima Tax Relief. For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Queens Long Island Renal Institute provides state-of-the-art in-center hemodialysis treatment for kidney disease patients. Our experienced team of nephrologists, renal nurses, and social workers offer chronic dialysis services in a comfortable and modern setting. Our experienced team is ready to meet the individual needs of patients and their families, all in one location. Valet parking is available. Let Queens Long Island Renal Institute be there for you and your family. For more information, visit QLIRI.org. That's QLIRI.org.
Is your car still under warranty? No, not anymore. My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care. Ox Car Care? Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. Brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-230-6196. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Car Care. 800-230-6196. 800-230-6196. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Hearing about technical glitches hampering the remote learning process in New York City public schools today. We're also bracing for what could be a doozy of a start to the Wall Street day. Straight ahead, that and more coming up at 9:30. Right now, CBiz, Mark's Planet Business Desk. Here's Bloomberg Steve Potus.
When it comes to the prices we pay when we shop, the numbers may be trending in the right direction, but retail inflation gains remain hotter than expected. The Consumer Price Index rose in January, 0.3% from December, a tick above the consensus forecast. On an annual basis, inflation was running at a 3.1% rate, down from 3.4%, but still above estimates. Take out food and energy costs, and the so-called core CPI was up 3.9%. The hotter reading has Wall Street pushing back its bets as to when the Fed will start cutting interest rates from June to July, and that has stock futures sounding a retreat. Small business owners turned more downbeat last month. The National Federation of Independent Business Optimism Index has fallen to the lowest reading since last May. Fewer owners expect sales volumes to pick up, and more say their earnings declined over the last 3 months. Steve Kerr, who planned to boost employment, dropped to the lowest level since May 2020. With Money News at 25 and 55 on WCBS. I'm Bloomberg's Steve Potus.
CBiz Mark's Planet, the New York area's premier accounting, tax, and advisory firm.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking at stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structure, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 5 million people. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rate, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, call Consolidated Credit now.
Call now, 800-552-6750. That's 800-552-6750. 800-552-6750.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Licensed by Virginia Corporation, Commission license number DC 32. Establishment of a plan adversely affect the individual's credit rating or credit scores. Non-payment of debt may lead creditors to increase financial charges or collections activity, including litigation.
This is Juliana Tarian, President and CEO of Rally Motor Company. Come see the Rally difference for yourself at one of our locations in Roslyn, Westbury, and Glen Cove, or online at rally.com.
That's RALLYE.com. The Rally Motor Company, our sponsor now at 928, and here's Tom Committee.
All right, let's head back on over to Route 280. You know, we're looking at it earlier, right at the top of the hill in West Orange. That is a bad spot to be in conditions like this. And now we do have a stalled vehicle. One lane is blocked. That does not surprise me at all. You really have coming in that stretch from that area of Livingston right up to the top of the hill and then going down the other side of the hill, getting down toward exit 10 in West Orange. Just use some caution in that area and seeing a lot of volume both ways in that stretch. Route 80, still very heavy from Alamucci right on in for Roxbury, in for Rockaway, right toward Parsippany. Route 78 has been very, very difficult all day long from that area of at least exit 11 in Pattenberg, right through the split at Route 22, and then right over to Route 287, continuing through Watchung, right over to the Garden State Parkway. New England Freeway, southbound, right around Co-op City for a stall. I'm Tom Committee, WCBS Traffic Center.
All right, we'll get to Craig Allen with the specifics on his storm forecast, but generally 4 to 8 inch accumulation, and this should be winding down, we think, midday, if not a little bit later.
Your home for CBS News. 60 Minutes, CBS Sunday Morning, and Face the Nation. This is WCBS 880 News.
Quite a drop at the bell for Wall Street as inflation continues to fall. It's down to an annual inflation rate of 3.1%, but that was above what Wall Street was expecting. Also continuing to fall was the snow. How much are we going to end up with? We'll check in with Craig Allen in just a moment. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy told us this is one day where you should work from home if you can. Sophia Hall and Long Island straight ahead where the snow is hitting on Election Day. The polls are open until 9 p.m.
This is the Opening Bell Report on WCBS 880 News.
Well, it's rough here at the bell. The Dow is 38,468, but is down 328 points. That's almost 1% lower. NASDAQ is down more than 2%. At 15,598 out of the gate, the NASDAQ is down 343 points. The S&P is down 67 right now. This is what we heard about inflation annually. It dropped to 3.1%, but that's still above the Fed's target rate of 2%. The Consumer Price Index in January rose 0.3%. That's up from 0.2% in December. An increase of 0.6% in the Shelter Index, accounting for more than 2/3 of the increase. 3.1% inflation number. That's below 9.1 that we saw back in mid-2022, but the markets are struggling this morning.
Tracking the storm. Now the latest from WCBS.
Speaking of struggles in the weather, we're activating the Mazda Storm Desk this morning. The storm arrived as expected, but nailing it down was a different thing. Craig Allen in the Weather Center. We got probably 3 hours or more of this still to go around here, we think.
I would say for the city, yep, and it's falling faster than the stock market right now. Let me tell you, this is some of the heaviest snow I have seen in several years around here. And when these heavy bands go by, the visibility drops to under a quarter of a mile, and it's just impossible to navigate if you're on the roads. And, you know, we've been talking all morning about the intensity of the snowfall. Will that be heavy enough to mitigate the effects of the brighter afternoon hours and the fact that the temperature is above the freezing mark? And right now it is. It is sticking to many of the roads, and so the plows have to really get going until later when it starts, the intensity starts to taper down. And here's the good news. It already is. In northwest New Jersey and the western sections of the Hudson Valley, in fact, the back edge is almost up to about the Delaware River and the Port Jervis area. So we are going to see this winding down from west to east over the next several hours. It'll probably take until a little after lunchtime for it to get to the city, the much lighter snow. And for the east end of the island, eastern sections of Connecticut, most likely around 2, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon from west to east across the island as well as Connecticut. And so with that in mind, 4 to 8 inches of snow with local amounts of 10, well, let's say anywhere from 8 to 10 and locally up to a foot. If you are up there in portions of interior Connecticut and up in the Hudson Valley, and anywhere where there's elevation of about 600-700 feet or higher, you could have some pretty substantial totals. The rest of the region, it's a 4 to 8 inch, very heavy, wet snowfall, Paul, and people are referring to this as snowman snowfall, because it's so, when you get outside, right, it's amazing how easy it's going to be to pack.
I think I'm probably going to break the snow brush trying to get it off the car. It's heavy wet stuff, right? But it's good for snowballs, so we'll have a fight out on Hudson Street after we're off the air at 10 o'clock. Craig Allen there in the Weather Center this morning. Remote schooling in New York City got off to a rough start. The New York City Public Schools tweeted currently experiencing issues with services that require IBM authentication to log in. They've been working at it. We just see a few minutes ago, New York City Public Schools tweeting that IBM has added capacity and improvements are rolling out across the system. So they're working on it at least right now, but it's a rough start. 900,000, more than 900,000 students in public schools in New York City on the remote plan today. That includes about 35,000 migrant students newly arrived in New York. For them, this is their first time at the remote learning rodeo, and they're trying it out. It was off to a rough start. Well, we heard stay home, take mass transit if you have to go out. That's the message from Governor Phil Murphy. I spoke with him this morning and asked him if he was worried about, given the dry and kind of wimpy winters we've had recently, if there's a kind of complacency that's setting in.
You worry about that. I have to say flooding is the one that gets, and we may have some flooding in the sort of Raritan, Barnegat Bay areas. I worry more about how human nature deals with flooding and water. There's some sort of false courage, if you will, that, you know what, I know it says don't pass on this road due to flooding, but I can muscle through it in my big SUV. You know, with that storm Ida a couple of years ago, we lost people's lives as a result of that. I think snow, there's a little bit more of a healthy respect, and hope that your point about complacency doesn't set in, because these things can still, as we're seeing this morning, pop up with a significant amount of impact.
Yeah, one silver lining the governor told us in the pandemic is that we have found ways to work from home. By the way, if you are taking New Jersey Transit this morning, Tom Kaminsky reporting earlier, 45-minute delays into Penn Station, Manhattan, because of fire department activity. They were working in one of the Hudson tunnels this morning. The storm is dropping the heaviest amounts of snow across North Jersey, the upper half of the city, parts of Long Island, interior suburbs north of the city. And WCBS reporter Sean Adams has been across the region this morning to New Jersey and probably more than halfway back right now, but I don't know. Sean, where are you right now?
Well, it's a slow go, Paul, so let me give you a snapshot of what people might encounter today. So just had a nice slow drive south, Palisades Parkway, exit 13 to Nanuet. I followed a plow truck for most of that. But that was nice to have a clear road service, but then the plow took an exit, and then the lanes disappeared. And then it was single file behind a slow driver with hazard lights flashing. And then some yahoo tried to speed past everybody on the left, but nobody knew where the lanes were. I mean, it's dangerous, and that's where you run into problems when you get those extremes. The really slow driver or the really fast driver. You need to know what you're doing out here, and neither style is good for these conditions. So, you know, and then add to that the fact that we're still in the thick of it. So we've got flakes flying everywhere. It's like driving in a snow globe. So I pulled over and taking a little break, a little rest here. But I've been in a lot of places: Greenwich, Connecticut, across Westchester, across Rockland, dipped down into northern New Jersey, back into Rockland here. And I have to say that I'm grateful. The saving grace for today: most people did listen. Most people stayed home. Traffic has been light. Live in Nanuet, Sean Adams, WCBS 880.
That's good advice there, Sean Adams. Yeah, take a break if you're out in the snow and take her easy, as they would say. At 9:37 at WCBS, stay out of the way of the plows. That's the advice that we heard from Governor Ned Lamont this morning here on WCBS from Connecticut.
We're telling cars stay off the roads as best you can. Let our 800 snow plows do their job. Keep the roads clear. Let the biggest of the tractor trailers off the highways. They could skid out, really cause a problem. And we do that in association with New York and Massachusetts. Not our first rodeo.
Certainly not, but again, that was the latest from Connecticut. Stay out of the way of those snowplows, and they're out there this morning doing what they can. It's traffic and weather together now on WCBS, and let's throw it over to Tom Kaminsky.
And let's start first off. We're starting to see a little bit more volume now, and some of these vehicles are getting into trouble. The southbound side of the Hutch, south of Route 287, we now have a collision. One lane's closed there. Northbound side New York State Thruway up around the Palisades, we have a crash there. Sawmill, northbound side in the Greenberg area, watch for a collision, and at least one lane is closed. It is still very tough on Route 280 eastbound side, getting from Livingston right up to the top of the hill in West Orange, right at exit 8. A really bad spot to be stuck in conditions like this. One lane is closed with a stalled vehicle there. 22 on the eastbound side, right at Weequahic Park in Newark, we have a collision. It is still very tough along Route 78, both ways from that area of exit 11 in Pattenberg right toward the Garden State Parkway. And on New Jersey Transit, just got the update. Still 45-minute delays into and out of New York Penn Station. That because of fire department activity in one of the Hudson River tunnels. With the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Ground Patrol, where adventure is on the edge, I'm Tom Kaminsky, the WCBS Traffic Center.
And the most recent news we have from Craig Allen is that the back end of the snow right now is just on the other side of the Delaware Water Gap and now moving in across areas of northwestern New Jersey, where they picked up quite a bit of snow this morning. 4 to 8 inches accumulation. That's the call from Craig Allen today, with the snow heavy at times until the midday hours. Windy high, middle 30s today. Tonight, clearing out, windy and cold. 25 to 30, 20 to 25 inland. And tomorrow, sunny, windy and cold with a high of 35 to 44. Valentine's Day. 33 degrees this morning. Our sponsor, Princeton Longevity Center.
It's the call you make to take control of your health.
Good morning, Princeton Longevity Center.
When you call Princeton Longevity Center, the region's leading center for preventive medicine, preventing heart attacks, finding cancers before they spread. Princeton Longevity Center not only helps you prevent life-threatening illnesses, they can help you reduce the anxiety that comes from just not knowing enough about your health.
It's a very in-depth physical.
When you call, a coordinator will tell you about a one-day comprehensive exam.
We do have all, even your blood tests back the same day.
Princeton Longevity Center is the region's technology. Time magazine says the most accurate test for early detection of cardiovascular risk.
We can also do virtual colonoscopy with our scanner.
Schedule your appointment today. Call 888-8000-PLC or PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
We do it all in one day.
888-8000-PLC.
WCBS News Time 9:41 with the Dow down 419 points, more than 1%. The NASDAQ is 294 points lower. That's pushing 2% lower for NASDAQ today with that news on inflation that dropped with the January CPI. And 3 to 6 inches of snow likely on Long Island. Let's continue our coverage now. Our WCBS Long Island Bureau Chief Sophia Hall has been out in the snow in Nassau County this morning.
I made the mistake of getting out of the warm car, and I could tell you it feels like rocks are hitting your face here in Woodbury. But I did meet Dean, who was taking photos of himself for social media. He's a breath of fresh air in this awful storm.
First of all, I was having a caffeine attack. Nothing's going to stop me from getting out. I live about 5 minutes down the road.
And what did you get here? It looks like an extra jumbo large coffee.
I get an extra jumbo. It's called Midnight Madness, and they don't brew it up until Dean on the Street is here.
And you're Dean.
I'm Dean, known as Dean on the Street.
Now to the special election. Kids are off from school and people working from home. They may not come out to vote. The two candidates, Democrat Tom Suozzi and Republican candidate Mazi Pilip. In Woodbury, Sophia Hall, WCBS 880 News.
By the way, the polls in that race in Nassau and in part of New York City and Queens, they're open till 9 p.m. Our Mazda Storm Desk, the WCBS 880 Storm Desk, sponsored by your local Mazda dealers. It's 9:42. Up next, Health and Well-Being, sponsored by Greenwich Hospital, part of Yale New Haven Health.
Pigs may be the answer to the ongoing shortage of human organ donors. Yes, pigs. Researchers are making advances in what is called xenotransplantation.
Xenotransplantation refers to transplantation between two different species. So in this case, it's between a pig and a human.
Dr. Robert Montgomery is chair of surgery at NYU Langone Health and director of the NYU Langone Transplant Institute. But wouldn't a human reject a pig organ?
That's correct, they do. So if you were to take a organ from a pig that's raised on a farm and transplant that into a human, it would immediately begin to turn purple and then black and would be rejected and have to be removed within minutes.
That's why they're using genetically edited pigs. More on this next time. For this and more health news, go to WCBS880.com/health. I'm Steve Scott, WCBS 880 News.
At Greenwich Hospital, we put our patients at the center of everything we do, whether it's supporting your birth experience or providing life-saving stroke and cancer treatments. Our extraordinarily compassionate team uses the most advanced science to deliver effective and personalized care. Because as part of Yale New Haven Health, everything at Greenwich Hospital is done as it should be, with the greatest of care. Learn more at greenwichhospital.org.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day.